ahead and hit record. You're on.
Oh, no, it won't let me.
It won't. Okay. I am recording. So welcome, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to our Tuesday training calls, Fancy Pants training calls. Today we have Sarah Winstead, who was my first girl, and she was my first coach and has a killer team that is awesome. We're going to have her talk to us today on the roles of leadership, basically. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. These are short and sweet and to the point, and thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share this with your girls.
Morning, everybody. Hope everyone has recovered from last night. I'm kind of a mess this morning because my kids were up way too late, but I've got my coffee and my breakfast. Anybody? Okay, so I'm just going to go through something that they did at leadership. And, they're trying to be a little more clearly defined about roles and stuff like that within LuLaRoe. They're doing a great job of providing us a little more documentation about training and expectations.
Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. And so will you just unmute yourself before you get started?
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to try to do a screen share thing. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Can you guys see that? The Q Club expectations? Yeah. Okay. So this is something to share with your QBs if you have team members that are in the queue. This is what they're recommending that QBs work on. And something that they've been telling everybody is that while you're in the queue, host 2 in-home pop-ups. And I think this is great advice. You all have people in your upline who would be willing to do that for you. I'd be willing to do it for you. And then you get the practice of being a hostess. So then you're going to be able to advise your future hostesses. You get to, reach out to all your friends. You get to book the parties from that event for when you get your inventory, and you get one-on-one hands-on learning with somebody who already knows what they're doing, basically. So while you're in the queue, reach out to someone in your upline and have 2 in-home parties. Also, identify your why and create your why sentence. So for me, this is something that has changed over time. It doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning, and it will probably transform. But just have a basic understanding of why you're in this business, and be willing to share that with your customers, because it really does make such a difference. One of my newer directs started sharing her why live in her group, and her group just exploded when she started doing that. Attend weekly Q Club webinars. So these are the 1:30 calls on Mondays. I've been posting them on my team page. I think Catherine has been too, so that you can help remind your QBs about it. And then also learn the culture, history, mission, values, basics. You are working for this company, and you need to know who it is you're working for. You would do that at any other job. So, really take the time to learn about the company and get to a point where you're comfortable sharing that information. Okay, so now we're going on to consultant expectations. As a consultant, you're expected to be a professional and to know what you're selling, why you're doing it. So these are some of the basics you need to know. You need to know LuLaRoe's mission and their core values. You can see the core values right there to the right: growth, purpose, confidence, trust, and of course, at the center of it all being love. Clearly identify your why. Again, something that you'll get better at as time goes on. Connect people with product. We always say we're in a relationship business. I think the relationships, those in-person relationships, are huge. And as a consultant, you need to develop those that make that your number one priority. Be a learn-it-all. This is something that we talk about all the time. It's huge for me. Just showing up to events, showing up on webinars right now. soaking up all the information you can. There's so much at our disposal now, you guys. If you haven't been on the Fashion Fun website, there's everything out there that you could want to learn about. So really take the time and learn from the best. And that's what's on that website. Participate in all trainings and webinars, Super Saturdays, convention, all those things. One thing we say a lot is people who show up go up. And I believe that to be 100% true. It's not just about what you learn at events. It's about connecting with other consultants and learning from them. That's almost equally as important. Applying the 72-hour game plan and doing it over and over. You guys, I have to keep doing the 72-hour game plan. I actually didn't really have to do it in the beginning. I was kind of lucky. I had a lot of people who wanted to host with me from the get-go. So I had to challenge myself to actually do it later. A lot of my first hostesses kind of joined my team, actually. And then, I got so caught up with leading the team and stuff that I kind of put sales on the back burner for a little while. And I had to revisit the 72-hour game plan. And it really does work. I don't know if this is true, but I heard somewhere that 1 in 10 hostesses will say yes. So that just kind of shows you how many people you need to reach out to get your parties, to get your schedule filled up. And at least initially get those first couple parties on the books, and then hopefully book parties off of those parties. And then the last thing, but so important, keep it simple, keep it super simple. There's an overwhelming amount of information out there, especially on the groups and all that stuff. And I can tell you that I've never had a Dymo printer. I've never had a Lula room. There's just so much that you could look at and feel like you have to do all those things, and you don't. Really, all you have to be able to do is bring your leggings with you and sell them. That's we are just selling clothes at the heart of it. So start there, start selling in person. I always tell my directs to do 5 in person before they even touch online. So just keep it really simple. In time, you may learn things from those groups that you want to add to your business, but in the beginning, don't get overwhelmed by it. Okay, so the fundamentals of being a consultant. 72-hour game plan, work your business really hard for the first 90 days. That's actually what I'm talking about at the Inspire Tour. Booking pop-ups, learning hostess prep and execution, learning how to sell and upsell, time management, business management, inventory management, knowing your product, how to cruise qualify should you want to do that, ethics and compliance, etiquette, styling, fundraisers, social media, when to pay yourselves, build and bless. I'm just going to kind of run through that. There are literally trainings on every single one of those topics on Fashion Fundamentals. So be sure you've learned all of those as a consultant. Okay, so now we're going to talk about when you get to be a sponsor. So you are a sponsor the second you bring somebody into this business. And really, this is something they're reiterating, that if you are not willing to do these things, you really should, and somebody comes to you and wants to join the business, you should really direct them elsewhere, because you are going to be paid to do these things. And so the second you take on someone, you are a sponsor and you are committing to this, essentially. So as a sponsor, you need to have mastered the other things, which I think is, kind of why they're not letting QBs take on QBs anymore. Because really, how can a QB teach? So you need to have mastered the previous things we just went over, the mission and the core values, be able to teach it, and be committed to your downline's success. Their success is your success, in a way. So be willing and generous with your time. Create a meaningful and personalized recognition. Recognize them when they do good things. You really want to be good friends with these people that you bring into the business. I can't speak for everybody, but I talk to mine daily. They're almost like my life support group. Now I don't know what I would do without them. And I really consider each of them to be my good friends. So I think that's important to have that kind of relationship with them. I know that Catherine and I have a strong friendship, and we didn't have that before, really developed out of LuLaRoe. And I feel like that's been huge for me. Treat your business like a business. You're bringing people into it. You have to take it seriously, and create a playbook for your organization. So this is kind of something we talked about at leadership. The theme was leadership by design. And so that means it's not like an accident that you got there. It was a plan, and you created this. And that starts with the very first person you bring on your team, the way you're going to treat them, the expectations, the recognition, all those things. Create a plan for how you want to lead your team, and go from there. Okay, this is what's on the side right here. So I'm just going to read this. Every organization should have a simple document that holds the answers to these 7 questions. So this is kind of what we were talking about, the leadership by design, the playbook. And these are some questions you can ask yourself as you start bringing on team members about how you want to lead your team. So what is your why? What is your way of being? What do you do? What are the fundamentals? How will you succeed? What's most important right now? And who must do what? So those are important questions. It can look different for everybody, and it really depends on the team you have, the people you have to pull from, the resources you have, the answers to those questions. But I would encourage you to start involving your team members from day one. Lift them up, challenge them. We say no one to lift, no one to challenge, and just develop the culture you want on your team. I think it should be similar to that of LuLaRoe's. And then how do you know? How do you know if you're doing this for your team? These are the key performance indicators. So if you see these things happening on your team, then you can know that you are probably doing a great job leading your team. So technical performance, they're selling, they're ordering, they're having pop-ups, they're getting new team members, and they're all staying. And then you see them living the values that LuLaRoe puts forth: love, purpose, confidence, trust, and growth. Okay, so I hope you guys can see this. Do I have that closer? I don't have a close-up of the transformation triangles, unfortunately. So trainer expectations. A trainer, real quick, is somebody who has a total downline of 10. They have at least 3 directs, and you have to hit a team volume of 1750, and also a personal volume of between 100 and 250, depending. So a trainer is a person who guides another in developing skills. So same as the sponsor, but kind of a little more developed. So again, living the mission, the 5 core values, being a why challenger, really challenging your team members to dig deep and discover what their true why is. You hold daily team motivation, hold weekly training webinars like Catherine's doing right now. You can recreate these kind of things with your team. Teach the how-tos of the business. You really need to be present. And if you've got 10 or more girls on your team, you really need to be present for them, and you're getting paid a good amount of money to work with your team and help them grow. And so there is an expectation there that you're going to train them. Build your team and invest in them. Give back to your team with challenges and prizes and all those kind of things. That's what they encourage part of your bonus check to go to. Get water to the end of the road. This is something we talk about a lot. And I hope that I'm doing it. And that's essentially that if I were to pick up the phone and call someone, 4 levels down from me, would they know the same principles that I teach my directs? know and teach the compensation plan. So, usually there's a lot of questions about that as you grow, and it's complicated. So you need to have a good understanding of that to be able to answer those questions. And then demonstrate and foster early confidence. I think this is just recognizing strengths in somebody early on, recognizing that all your team members are not at the same place in their business, and being able to cater to each of them and their different needs. And unfortunately, we can't really see the transformation triangles. I'll try to get a better slide of that. But that is all I have. Pretty short and sweet. Does anybody have any questions? I'm happy we can talk about the bonus plan. We can talk about expectations. Anyone have any questions about any of those things? I can't hear you, Catherine. I'm going to stop the screen share if I can figure it out. Hang on.
Sarah, why don't you just do the cliff notes of what the bonus plan is?
Okay. So a sponsor is when you have one team member or more. You can have more, and you have to order 175 pieces. Side note, they have told us that at some point the bonus structure is going to change to sales. I think it will be next year, but just be prepared for that. That's why you really want to look at those key performance indicators. Be sure your team is selling. And not just ordering. LuLaRoe doesn't want clothes sitting around in people's houses and not moving. They want you selling the clothes. So a sponsor has to order 175 pieces at this point in time, and they get 5% off any of their directs. And then a trainer has a total downline of 10. They have a minimum of 3 directs. They have to order. Their team volume has to be 1750. As a trainer, you can order between 100 and 250 personally, 100 being the minimum. 250 is what it starts at, and that's reduced by 50 for every frontline direct you have that orders 175 or more, up to 3 times. It's a little confusing. So if you have one direct that orders 175 pieces, then you would have to order, then your 250 would be reduced by 50, and you'd have to order 200. If you have 3 directs that order 175 or more, your 250 would be reduced 3 times, and you'd only have to order 100. And then as a trainer, you get 5% on your directs, and 3% on your second line. If you have a trainer under you, you also get 1% on their team volume. Is that as far as you want me to go, Catherine?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Any questions about that? I know we just finished the month end yesterday. So there's always a lot of questions right at the end of the month. Anybody?
I think we're good. Well, thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate you going over that. Make sure y'all share this. I'm going to upload it on Fancy Pants. Make sure you share it with your girls because it is really good information. And I appreciate you taking the time, Sarah.
No problem.
All right. Well, I feel like it's a Monday, I think because of Halloween yesterday. And I feel like I'm still discombobulated on my candy low. All right, so I'm going to stop recording, and y'all have a great week, and make sure you get on the call today at 1.
Bye.
Bye.